So before we start, let's remove the stigma of you basically asking yourself and tell yourself right now, who the fuck is this guy and why should I even listen to him? Why should I listen to him talk about sales, talk about business, talk about making money online? What qualifications does this guy have? So I'll present myself real quick. I'm Leo, I'm 20 years old. When I was 18, I made my first five figures per month at the end of my basically 18, almost 19 years old. I traveled the world, went to Dubai, went to a lot of different countries. I have the ability to travel the world and go wherever I want right now. If I choose to, I can literally go wherever I want. I don't know, 12K Rolex, just like that. Really high level five figure investments right now that I don't really talk about, stocks, stuff like that. And but of course, I'm not going to show you most of that. What I can show you though is results, right? You can go through my Instagram, you can go through my results, you can go even through the company that I worked for the last 9 months. The name is Eco Soluzione. I can even write it down here. I don't think you'll see it if I write it, but it's a solar company in Italy, one of the top solar companies in the country, where by the CEO, I was the guy with the basically least cost per close of every single salesperson. And paradoxically, I was the guy who was working the least in the sales team, right? Because what I did is for the last 2, 3 years, I've done sales. I've done sales for guys like King Azulay, Ben Azulay, if you probably saw him. I mean, I can even show you real quick on YouTube, to be fair, who this guy is, right? But, guys like Ben Azulay worked with him, was his closer, was his manager. I can even show a couple screenshots of the chat with him that I did and everything to show and prove that I'm a closer. I guess I'll like post it somewhere here. I'm still in the community, which is Eco Soluzione, which is the solar company that I was talking about before, and all these different things, right? And for 3 years, I've just done sales, closing, setting, actually showing and practicing what I'm preaching. So not only telling you, oh, I'm a sales coach, I'm the best in sales, you should listen to me. No, what qualifications do I have, right? So I work with guys like King Azulay, worked with guys in the AI space, in the trading space, in the forex space, sold. I don't even know how much I sold as of now, probably well over 1 million in revenue, as in sold in a single year, right? And countless six figures sold personally for profit when it comes to my own businesses, my own coachings, my own services as well, because I had even a sales agency. So all my life was around sales in the last 2, 3 years, right? But what I want to talk about and why I'm telling you these qualifications is because, well, basically, I'm going to teach you sales. I'm going to teach you how to become good in sales and not to listen to other people or other people that are not qualified because there's just so many sales coaches out there. Like there's more sales coaches than I don't even know than young guys right now. It's crazy. Everybody's a sales coach, even though they don't have the qualifications. So that's why it was so important for me to start with the qualifications to tell you exactly how to sell. Okay? So sales is two things. It is relating, rapport, empathy, however you want to call it, and authority. Being a good closer is a perfect balance between relating and authority. Okay? If you have only relating, what's going to happen is the person is going to be like, oh, this guy can, really understand me. He can really think how I think, feel what I feel. He can put himself in my shoes, but I don't know. I just see him as a friend, like, when the girl friend zones you, oh yeah, he's such a good friend, but she's never gonna go and fuck him, right? Well, with only authority, well, if you're hopping on a call with somebody that only has authority but doesn't relate to you at all, you don't feel heard, you don't feel understood, you only feel basically bossed around, right? So you have to have the perfect balance in sales when it comes to both authority and relating. Because if you have too much of relating, you're in the friend zone, basically. If you have too much authority, you're seen as the boss. Another metaphor can be, well, relating, if you're too much relating, you're like the mom, right? That is always like, oh, honey, don't worry about it. I understand you. It's all okay, right? Relating. But if you're too much like that, you're like your mom, right? And if you're too much in authority without any relating, so basically, listen, this is what you got to do. You got to do X, 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 and Y, and not question me at all. Well, who does that sound like? The dad figure. Of course, not every dad is like that, or not every mom is like that, but I'm just stereotyping, right? So you don't want to be neither of these people because you won't buy from neither if you really think about it. Who you will, meaning listen to, because when you're a kid, when you're an adolescent, you never listen to your parents. But who do you listen to? I mean, I'm an only child, so I'm not talking by experience, but I'm talking by, well, experience of other people and also talking about logic. Who you're going to listen to is the person that has both relating, so has both the ability to understand you, was in your same situation, knew how to overcome your situation, knows how to communicate with you in your same way, all these different things, but at the same time, he is better than you. He overcame those things and he has more authority than you because he's at a higher level. So you're actually going to listen to him. And who is this in the metaphor? This is why this is the title of the video, is your older brother, right? So in sales, as a closer, as a setter, or just as a salesman, if you're not, of course, if you're selling a service or you're a business selling to another business, that's a different thing. But if you're a closer, right, and you're selling someone when it comes to making money, when it comes to selling someone, and you are the authority figure in that moment, you need to be perceived as the big brother, as the person that will trust, basically, the person will be able to trust you, will be able to relate with you, and you can be like, listen, man, I went through what you went. I understand you absolutely, but you got to listen to me right now. You got to listen to what I'm saying because if you don't, you're not never going to make it, right? So it's perfect balance of authority and relating, right? This is why I'm saying, as a closer, as a salesperson, you got to be like the big brother. You got to be like somebody that people can trust. They feel safe around you. They feel like they can relate with you because you were them in a way, right? Especially when it comes to make money niche. You know, if you're selling something to tell people how to make money, you're selling, of course, a network of service. If you are the big brother figure, then you basically can help them. And this is like really what I hear all the time is that when people talk about their mentors, is like as if they talk to their big brother. Some of the students that I mentor myself, I see them as little brothers that I never had, even though I don't have brothers, right? Because literally I see myself when I was 15, 16, 17 going through the same issues, going through the same problems, and I can be like, yo, bro, listen, I was exactly where you were. And I can tell you how to overcome that, but you got to listen to me, right? And if you're able to use that and extrapolate that in your sales call, the person is not going to see you as a salesman. He's going to see you as his brother. He's going to see you as somebody that he can trust, right? A consultant at the end of the day. But if you're too much of a salesy consultant, of a professional consultant, of authoritative, like listen to me, this is how you got to do it, and not relating at all, then you lose the sale because you just sound salesy and like all the other salespeople, right? So it has to be the perfect balance. And so what you got to do right now is understand what's your weak spot, right? Like when you talk to someone, and this is also in life, right? In life, you got to have this perfect balance, as I said, even with a girl. If you have too much relating and not enough authority, you're going to end up in the friend zone. Authority doesn't mean, you need to be, authoritative and a boss. No, it just means being a good leader, right? Because every girl wants a man that can lead in a peaceful, in a healthy, in a structured and nurtured way, and that can nurture her, right? Because at the end of the day, what's a relationship? When you want to get the girl, you're trying to sell the girl, you're closing the girl to be with you, right? So even here, same thing, same logic. And what I want to basically make you understand, bro, is that if you want to become really good at closing, what you got to do is understand what's your strong points and what's your weak points. When I started, for example, my strong point was I was able to relate to people. I was able to really be there and understand, listen, man, I totally get you and everything. But I was a kid, so I was younger. I had less authority in general, like how I spoke, how I said. The first ever sales call that I did that I closed for 800, I closed because it was really good at speaking and relating to the person and being super friendly and super likable, right? Because relating is part of being likable. But I literally fluked. I literally just was destroying the call. I wasn't even able to speak after like 20, 30 minutes. I had to say, oh, listen, wait. I was super scared. I went to get some water that to be fair, I got a drink right now. Because my throat was too sore, I wasn't able to speak. My voice was cracking, right? So my authority was just negative, but my relating was so good that I ended up closing the deal anyway. But this just shows my talent was relating. I had no authority. I had to build up my authority, right? And it took me some time. It did take me some time. Endless sales calls, endless real calls, endless conversations, endless practice. But I was able to match the two things, right? I still have a lot of work to do. I definitely have to get better in a lot of things, but at least I know, and this is one thing that even a lot of guys told me, is that my authority is pretty much almost level to my relate, meaning that I'm not anymore the friend in the friend zone that only has relate no authority, that basically asks permission to do things. No, I have the authority, I have the relating, right? Because I curated the two things to make sure that I have a good balance. Okay, this is the same thing you got to do yourself. If you see you have too much authority, meaning like you're really like stoic in the call, you have a good frame, you are pretty very cold, and you can like lead the call properly, but you're not able to relate to the person. You're not able to be like, oh yeah, man, I totally get you. Oh yeah, bro, you go to the gym. I go to the gym as well. What did you hit today? Oh, that's awesome, right? All that stuff that will make you likable. Well, you're not going to close, right? So trying to understand what's your strong spot and what are you lacking of these two things, because you're definitely lacking in one of the two. There's no way you have both of them dialed in if you're watching this video, right? So this is what you got to do. And if you want to become a sales pro, if you want to become an actual expert in sales that actually nails every single sales call, knows all the basically tricks and systems to become a super chill, a super authoritative, everything all dialed in salesman, being able to handle objections, being able to do everything from A to Z and make money online, right? And you maybe not even know how to actually use the skill of sales. I can tell you how to use the skill of sales, right? I can even place you in companies as well, since I do work with companies. So if you are looking to do that stack cash or improve your sales, then just text me down below or text me on Instagram or just go and check the link in my bio, in my bio down below in the captions of this YouTube video. Okay. So hopefully this video was of value, right? And hopefully my qualifications were enough to convince you. But yeah, bro, just focus on these things and you'll be all right. And if you, of course, need my help, you know where to find me.